Welcome to the final section of this workshop. In this section, we will discuss the lesson plan sample. This ideal lesson plan implements creativity and focuses on the creativity traits that were introduced in the first section. Remember that those traits were openness, risk takers, and flexibility. Now we will go over the lesson plan sample. On the website that you're watching this from, notice that the page has two different lesson plans. One of them is the template that I used to fill out this lesson plan sample, and you may use the template to practice filling out a lesson plan that implements creativity while targeting the three traits. Now, let's go over the lesson plan sample. The name of the lesson plan that I picked is titled Historical Character, and I know that it states for grades 11 to 12, but this can be for any grade. I just chose those grade levels because from what I read in Minnesota, the students have pretty much learned history, world and US at this point in time in their education. First, we will go over the overview and purpose. The students will develop a fictional character, keep a diary that describes the character's thoughts and feelings about certain events in their chosen time period, and create a presentation to the class about the character, their events, what the character did, and what happened when the diary ended within one semester. Now, I would like you to read the education standards. If you have skimmed through the sample lesson plan, then you already know that this is a pretty big section. So due to time limit, for me anyway, I would like you to pause this video and read that section on your own and resume watching this video when you're finished reading that section. We will now move on to the objectives. Given a choice of various time periods by the teacher, students will create a fictional character, write a diary from that character's perspective about certain major events during that time period within the 5 months of the semester. It will be a whole semester project. And given what they wrote in their diary, the students will present to their class their character's biography, time period, thoughts and feelings on significant events during that time period, and what happens after the diary ended, and the presentation should be within 10 minutes. Or whatever you decide. Here are the recommended materials: a computer, internet access, Microsoft Word or Google or another appropriate software, Google Slides or PowerPoint for your presentation. Next, we will go over the verification. This is how you would make sure your students understand what they're learning. So at the end of each month, the students will email me or you, the teacher, their latest entries. Ask them questions about the time period, and if they answer correctly, tell them to keep up the good work. But if it's incorrect or they do not know, give them assistance to guide them to the right place to look. These are just suggestions, by the way. You don't have to exactly use this. Now here is the activity that will reinforce what your students learned. The students will be quizzed by the teacher. They will be asked to take notes during each presentation, and how they are quizzed depends upon the teacher's preference. You can call them randomly, you can hand out a quiz on a paper, you can do it online, you can even use it as an exit ticket. It's up to you as the teacher. Lastly, how this lesson plan targets the three traits. Now, if you have read the template again, you'll notice that this section is missing. That's because I added this section in case it wasn't clear how the three traits are used, and if it helps you, you're more than welcome to use it in the future. So the first one was openness, and if a student is interested in a time period that they don't know much about, encourage that. Risk takers. There are countless events in history that are considered controversial. The students character might have an unpopular opinion on that certain event. And if a student wishes to explore this concept, perhaps their view of a certain event might change. For example, let's say a student wants to write a journal on a Vietnamese villager's experience in the Vietnam War, and the student thinks that the U.S. getting involved was a good thing. Well, it's very unlikely that a Vietnamese villager would say otherwise. And lastly, flexibility. This activity will force students to try and see things from their character's perspective. They are being flexible in their thinking. Similar to risk takers, their view of certain events might change. Thank you for participating in this online workshop. I would now like you to go to the survey page and provide your honest and accurate feedback. Best of luck to you all in your careers.